Hello everyone, Sky here. Before I begin this video, I just want to say that this is not a should you pull or should you skip. Usually when I do these videos, I am just giving my honest opinion. It is up to you, the viewer, to make the final decision yourself. So I'm sure you have heard it everywhere. E1 Tribbie, the strongest Eidolon in the entire game. Now, where have I heard this before? Strongest Eidolon in the game. Are you talking about Robin? I'm going to give my hot take why it isn't as insane as you might think for this E1. So, be seated. Yep, you. Sit down and relax. Put the pitchforks down. E1 Tribbie does 24% true damage. If there are 5 targets on the field, all 5 will smart target to the mob with the highest HP. Sounds kinda insane, right? But what if one day the meta shifts and there is no longer 5 targets on the field? What if it's only 1 target now? Maybe, just maybe, okay? No leaks or anything. I can see this being a possibility if they ever want to bring back the hunt path in the future, cause I don't think every future hunt character is going to be like Fei Xiao. They could be better, they could be around the same, they could do different things, I don't know. It's the future, you can't see the future. Your 5 hits of true damage from the E1 is now 1 hit of 24% if there's only 1 target on the field. Less than RMC. RMC gives 1 additional instance of true damage equals to 30%. And for this, right, you are using an entire character pool, which is like 80 to 90 pools, assuming you win your 50-50. If you lost, then you know it's like almost double, depending on your luck, of course. This same problem can also apply to Herta. I know this video is about Tribbie, but I said in one of my previous videos, I believe it's the Black Swan video, that I will address it here because I'm kind of talking about the same thing here. So without the large amount of targets on the field, both Tribbie and Herta will face a similar problem. This is not to doom post any of them, they are both good characters, but I am trying to explain a possibility that could happen in the future. So when there's not enough mobs, Tribbie will not gain her energy as often because it relies on hitting a lot of mobs. So your allies have to hit multiple mobs for her to gain a lot of energy, which I believe one mob is 1.5 energy or something like that. Okay, for Herta, right, if there are no mobs on the field, like even at the beginning or summons or anything, she's not going to be able to stack interpretation as quickly because you see this 25 at the start of the wave is only at the start of the wave. So after you get this 25, after your first hit, then you don't have this 25 anymore. And every time you attack the mob, right, you only get 1 stack of interpretation. While some of your tracers, right, they can give you like a little bit more. If you're going to stack on 1 mob, right, it's going to be very slow. Because how the Herta is designed is you want to stack on everything on the field, you kill them and then they transfer to the elite. So that's how you stack to 42 very quickly. And also the energy. After attacking, right, for every 1 target hit by this attack, we generate 3 fixed energy for the Herta, up to a maximum of 5 targets. If there's only 1 target on the field, she's going to get her out like once every 55 business days or something, which is going to be very, very, very slow. If you haven't tried it yourself, you can go and try it in a place like maybe Simulated Universe, where there are usually there's like 1 or 2 elites and they don't spawn. So even though you have the blessings, it's actually kind of slow. Her SD damage, right, well, you can say it's good, but that's because the current meta, the mobs are getting spawned continuously. So when you kill all the mobs, right, and then you left the boss left, right, the boss will probably be at 42 stacks usually. So that's why her SD damage looks like it's very strong, because she already has the interpretation stacked. But if there's only 1 mob or 2 mobs and they don't summon at all, she's gonna stack very slow and the damage is not gonna be very good. Also, Tribbie's E1 only helps AoE characters. If you want to use a blast character, well, I would say it's still okay, but they only max out at 3 targets hit. So it's not as effective as AoE, which they can hit 5 targets. And single target characters only get 1 hit because they only hit 1 mob. Also, bounce characters like Aventurine, I believe he can bounce 7 times. And like Yun Li can bounce like up to 9 times if you have E1. Those would be really good. They don't have to be specifically hit 5 targets because every bounce it will count as a hit. So because this E1 is heavily situational, if you truly want to vertically invest, okay, this is another hot take. I am not a anyone salesman unless it's Run Me.
What? Stop it. Get some help.
But one example, Robin's E1.
Oh shit, here we go again. Okay,
while her attack buffs are useless for newer characters that are not attack scaling, for example Tribbie, I believe My Day, they showed that in the live stream, and that's all for now. So while her attack buffs are not useful for these characters, her E1, right, the rest band, it has no situational triggers. You don't need a condition to meet to get the rest band from the E1, as long as Robin can keep her out up. You don't need the teammates to be AoE to use this E1. And even if the out has downtime, you are still using the E1 when it's back up. Whether it's like down for a while or down for 1 turn or it's 100% uptime, this E1 will always work. No matter what kind of field no matter what kind of mobs you have on the field, whether it be like 1 mob, 2 mob, 5 mob, 10 mobs, I don't know how many mobs, the E1 will work. But in E1's Tribbie's case, if the mobs don't keep spawning, like they don't spawn mobs or they don't even have mobs at the start and the beginning, you can't force it. Unless of course one day Hoyoverse creates a character or something that like, oh okay, now you can become a summoner and you can summon mobs for your enemy, not for yourself, for your enemy. But yeah, why do I feel like this is possible? Just to keep the Herta relevant. But yeah, anyways, HB scaling characters are not going to be meta forever. Neither is the AoE meta going to last indefinitely. Of course, meta will always change, as you can see. We move from like Hyper Carry to Dot to Super Break, and they keep changing. When the AoE meta passes, suddenly your E1 Tribbie looks kinda useless, cause like what's she gonna do if there's only 1 mob on the field? You're only gonna do 24% true damage. While someone like Robin, doesn't matter if it's like I say, doesn't matter 1 mob, 5 mob, 10 mob, 20 mob, 100 mob, the E1 will still work as long as you're in Concerto. But of course, however, it is good that Tribbie's E1 is kind of balanced and not game breaking like Robin's E1 in every possible aspect, because it does have its downsides of having to be AoE content. So that's one good thing. And one more thing to add, okay, rest span, right? When you hit 100% and you go over it, just like defense shred, it will do nothing. There is a hard cap. So that's also a weakness of Robin's E1. Okay, for Tribbie's Lightcone, this is very debatable. So a good alternative is the Dance S5 Lightcone, or you could even use Machine Cogs. But like I said earlier, without lots of mobs to hit, Tribbie cannot get enough energy back. You might realize that this Lightcone is only valuable when the AoE meta has passed. So you might have this question, why did I skip this Lightcone? I have only one reason. I am a zero cycler. So to me, Dance is more important for the action value. And I felt that I wouldn't utilize this Lightcone much. However, I'm keeping this in mind for her rerun. It is better to not pull now rather than pull and then you regret later. I can give my example, that is the Sparkle's Lightcone. But if you are not like me, this cone may be useful to you now and in the future. Also, one thing I want to add from my testing, if you're playing a slow Tribbie, which you should, if you don't have the Lightcone, you will not be able to do the out instantly. You have to wait for Tribbie's turn. And she's very slow, so it might take a while before her turn starts. And the reason you want to up ASAP is because you want the follow-up whenever your teammates do their ultimate. Which is why some people do talk about the fast Tribbie method. But for me, I'm not very interested in farming Eagle set or even crafting Eagle set. But that's my personal opinion. That's up to you. For me, I have a reason to not craft the Eagle sets because firstly, I want to keep my fragments for something in the future, which you guys will see if you stick around. It will not be very soon though. It might be the end of the year. I don't know. But yeah, that's about her Lightcone. Alright, now that I have talked about all the downsides and maybe you're probably upset at me now or something, here are some upsides, okay? Pure Fiction, the only mode that will probably never shift from 5 target scenario. The Herta will likely shine here until she gets power crap one day, as well as for Tribbie's E1. And if, okay, if after they get power crap, they are not going to be completely unusable. As you can see, characters like Himiko and Herta, they're still good, even though, you know, the Herta is the best AoE character now. But that doesn't mean the older characters are useless. And Hoyo did say they're going to buff new characters. When, I don't know, and how, I also don't know. But I will keep my expectations low. And yeah, they're not going to be completely unusable. Unless HSR proves us wrong and this current crazy power creep is not stopping, as you can see from like the MOC, HP inflation and all that. Also, another thing, this E1 of Tribbie, it does stack with RMC, so more damage good. However, is it worth to keep pulling for damage on one character? Think about it. Okay, in conclusion, my takeaway is be careful of vertical investment. Consider if this is what you really need. Is this situational Eidolon worth it for the short-term benefit? Or is using pools for another new character more worth it? Think about it. Your pools are limited, of course, as you know, unless you spend. And I've said this many times before, your money in real life is also limited, even if you're working. Unless you're swimming in it, like, you know, the rich whales. Food for thought. Feel free to discuss this in the comments. Maybe you disagree with me, maybe you agree with me, maybe you're upset with me, I don't know. But I feel like instead of following everybody and saying this is the strongest E1 in the entire game, who now? I should tell you of like the possible downsides of it, which not everybody might tell you about it. Okay, to elaborate on this further, usually when people do posts, right, they only tell you that the character is bad. They have nothing positive to say. And if people want to shield the character, they'll just tell you the good things. But I'm telling you the good and the bad. So you can weigh these options, whether the good outweighs the bad, and then you decide whether you think it's worth it for you. So that's what I mean. And also like pool value. Even though it's good, think about it whether it's something you want to do for the short term, because it might not have long-term benefits. And as you can see, strongest E1 in the game, oh, Robin. Then now strongest E1 in the game, oh, Tribbie. So you can see there's a trend. In the future, there's going to be another time when people are going to say that this is the strongest E1 in the game, and it's not going to be Tribbie. And then the cycle will just keep repeating. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching to the end. Take care and have a great day. Bye bye.